Welcome to Fun Palais Podcast, where we are unpacking opinions and changing destinations. I am your host, Sherley Altador, where each week we will chat about how to rise strong out of all types of obstacles that come with relationships. Through personal life experiences and discussions ranging from infidelity, trust, forgiveness, sex, heartbreak, self-love, and so much more. I am passionate and obsessed to provide guidance to every woman to create a better life. Let's dive in, pull up a seat, make sure you're cozy, and get ready to be challenged and encouraged while you learn. With me, your virtual girlfriend. Welcome to the first episode of Advice Time on Fun Palais Podcast. Today, I have a special guest with me. As you can see, he's sitting right here. Kalief, you want to introduce yourself to the people?
How y'all doing? I'm Kalief. Her man, 25 years. Have a lot of pain and suffering.
So today, the first episode we're going to talk about is how did we last 25 years? This year marks 25 years since we've been together. It started in 97 when he first saw me getting off the school bus. And he was looking at me like a creeper. And in my mind, I was like, what the fuck is he looking at? And then I just went in the house. But that's how it all started. He was walking to his cousin's house and I was getting off the bus. And he was just staring.
Oh, I can say something?
Yeah.
Oh. So the look was, at that point in time, I like the Catholic looking school dresses. At that point in time, I'm not a pedophile, none of that. But classy look, yes. She had me.
Did I really have you, or did you was like, oh, that's one I could fuck?
Guess it was on some, let me shoot my shot. I want to see what it turns out to be. You know, you can get 100 no's and still get one yes.
True.
That's how I look at it.
True. So when you finally shoot your shot.
When I finally shot my shot,
Uh-huh.
you lied to me.
I did lie to you.
Yeah.
I did lie to you. You could tell him what I lied to you about.
She lied and said she was she wasn't a virgin. She was.
Yeah.
She on the couch.
I did. Well, I wanted to seem like I was like, the crazy thing is now that I think about it, it was a stupid move on my part because there's nothing to promote about being promiscuous in my eyes, And at that time, I felt like the logical thing to do was, I needed to impress him. So let me tell him I'm sleeping with other people. And when I think about it now, I look back and I'm like, that was just absolutely stupid. Wouldn't you agree?
Definitely. You bled on my couch.
It wasn't even your couch.
It was my couch.
It was your cousin's couch. And then later on, you told me, she asked you, Kalief, what the hell is this?
Shirley blood.
No, you didn't say that. Now, if she watches this, she probably will know.
She's going to be laughing her ass off.
Yep. So, so now we're going to fast forward to a few years later because after that whole situation, we were kind of, I really think, we weren't really off and on. We were really fuck buddies.
Off and on.
We were fuck
buddies. Every time I got mad at you,
no,
I stayed away. Every time you got mad at me, you'll stay away. The truth.
I didn't really get mad at you, though. I got mad at you one time.
What
that one time was I found out you were seeing somebody. And I specifically told you, Kalief, I'm not going to be a side chick. So when you stop dating who you're dating, you can contact me and we can continue this. And you said, okay. And a month went by. And then I got this random phone call after a month. And it was you. And I said, I think I said hi. And then you said to call you in a month when I stopped seeing the girl.
Possible. Very possible.
It went something like that.
Mm-hmm. Then I came over and hit that same night.
Yeah. So I wasn't really ever mad at you.
You was
I wasn't mad at you. Other than that situation, what other situation?
when you threw my McDonald's out the car.
Because you were being rude.
I wasn't being rude. I was being honest.
You were being rude.
Honesty is always going to be seen as being rude when it's actually not. Being honest is just speaking your voice and I'm not going to say not caring about the person's feelings, but it's about being truthful to yourself and being truthful to who you are. And at that point in time, you threw my McDonald's out the car. That was a good chicken sandwich. It ain't fall out the bag, so I picked it up and ate it.
Did you?
Hell yeah.
I remember you doing all that. And it was actually, he probably did because it was still in the bag. Yeah. I actually threw the bag out. It wasn't individually thrown. Yeah. And he probably just walked out and got it, but I don't remember.
And I threw my tea back in the car. And she went home wet.
Oh, yeah. Because you threw the tea at me after I threw the bag out. Mm-hmm. Yep. You threw the tea at me after I threw the bag out. And we both went up and home. And
then I was mad because I was eating that chicken sandwich and the french fries and they had nothing to drink. That whole
walk. So I guess now we'll fast forward. You pick a time.
What time do you want?
Anytime.
Well, when I moved into your parents' house with you?
I mean, we could start then. And how mad my mom was.
I don't know how mad she was. You do.
I think she was just, upset. Well, first of all, let me tell you about the move. The move wasn't anything that was discussed with my parents. I just kind of moved the human being on in because he needed a place to stay. And I just thought.
A place to stay. The house got raided. What you talking about?
It did, but I think I was the quickest and easiest move for you. Not that you didn't have anywhere else to go. I was the sexual move for him. Easy access to sex. Wouldn't you agree?
No, I won't.
No, that wasn't it?
No, I won't. I think at that point in life, it was more along the lines of I knew what I wanted and was trying to build the foundation. And basically, as we all know, you must start somewhere. So that was the move of this human being.
Oh, that was the point of the move.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was just easy access to sex.
No, it wasn't no easy. I don't give a fuck about that shit like that.
I feel now you don't as much.
I do, but I do. I want some tonight.
No. You'll be asleep after that.
No.
You'll be tired. You already said you was falling asleep while I was setting up.
But that's besides the point. Sex is energy. Remember that.
It is. It's you're burning calories.
Mm-hmm.
You're burning
and it
calories.
Lowers your blood pressure.
No, it doesn't. It probably makes it higher.
Lowers it.
It does?
Yeah.
I have to look into that.
Wow, it just sounded good.
I don't think so. I can feel your pressure going up and rising.
No, that's just the heartbeat to get the blood flowing.
So, I guess when you moved into the house, what else do you have to say about that?
I was comfortable. I felt wanted, happy. There's more words, but I don't think I could describe them. And she's getting wet just listening to this.
No, I'm not. This is the most I've ever seen him actually calm and talking, and doesn't seem like I'm gonna bite his ear off.
You are right now, but anyway. Because you're getting it to me.
Oh, well, that's good. This is the first I'm hearing of it, because I thought the real reason why he moved in was because he wanted sex.
We could talk about the time her mom called us, though.
Oh, yes, we can definitely talk about that. We'll save that for another episode about the time she did catch us. Whew. When your mom catches, and you know, our kids are right at that age. What would you do if I don't think they caught us. Would I say they probably heard us? But they seen us when they, well,
with the kickstand.
In all due respect, our kids have seen us. I know you're probably going to think we're the most worst parents in the world, but it doesn't matter what y'all think. Anyway,
not many people in this world that got caught by their kids.
I know. But they were really small and they didn't know what they were watching. Remember the one time we saw Pop Up just sitting at the edge of the bed?
It was a movie. He was watching a movie.
He was not watching a movie. He was watching us.
It was a movie.
And he just kind of looked. I don't think he understood what was going on because we were kind of discreet about it.
He was like 1.5.
He was like 2.5.
He wasn't that old.
And then remember the first time your daughter saw us, she started crying.
Yeah, but she was an infant.
She was 6 months, and I think she was just scared.
Well, that was joining your noises.
But anyway. Now you made me lose my train of thought. Oh, what were we talking about? We were talking about
the best episode you ever had.
Well, how we lasted 25 years. A few of our skits. We were talking about when you moved in. And the whole move-in process. First of all, I didn't get the okay. That's what I was saying. I didn't get the okay from my parents. They just kind of saw this young man. I guess it was a long visit for them because they didn't necessarily assume he moved in. I think it was just after a few months when he was sleeping there almost every night. And then my mom suspected that he was there
almost every night. It was
every night. It was every night. You were sleeping there every night, and then that's when she suspected that he was literally practically living there. And we used to go through the slide door, so it made it easy, to not even have to see them. And except when you had to use the bathroom and take a shower. That's the only time you had to walk past.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you think if they had accepted it, we would have stayed there longer?
No, I don't like that fucking house.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a different type of home, but you think you would have left as quick as we did?
Fuck yeah.
Still left as quick as we did? I know. We bought a house pretty young. Hold on. I got to hold on real quick because this is just a promo.
SD card.
I'm gonna get one that has more.
Terabyte.
Yeah. That way I can record longer. Okay. So we bought a house pretty young, I guess, just to move into that. We moved out. We bought a house pretty young. We were looking for an apartment, but I think at the time we had the dogs and the apartment.
No apartment.
And the apartment situation, was just not working out. I think we found one or two places that didn't give us a hard time, but for some reason we didn't get them and we moved towards buying a house. So,
which is the house we live in now.
Yes, this is the house we live in now. And it didn't look like this. A lot of work has been done to this home because it was just older looking. Not much. It was just much older looking.
And we bought a house not knowing any outcome of it. Just jumped into a situation. So just a heads up, people in the world, when you're going to go look for something that you know you're willing to build upon, if possible. Meaning, don't just rush into nothing. Give it a whole bunch of thought. And then see the outcome from there. If you have a vision and you have the goal, take it and run.
Yeah, very true. Because we didn't realize what we were in for. I guess at 19 and 20, you can't really necessarily be too upset with us because it's very young to buy a house and to tackle that big financial goal when I feel as though we weren't even really truly financial stable to even make that move.
Because I was still running the streets, you was still working your job, but overworking yourself.
Yeah.
And
I think
you brought the house and I got locked up right afterwards.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. So I mean, would it have hurt if we waited? Yeah, but life lessons learned, mistakes made. And I think we've learned from them over the years. That's normally how you do learn, is from the mistakes that you make. But so we bought the house. We bought the house young. We moved in here. We moved in 04. You got incarcerated in 05. You came home in 06. Right afterwards, I got pregnant with our first daughter. With our first live child, living child. Which was a girl. And wow, that's about to be 15 years from now. So yeah. So we had her. And then I think initially the plan was to wait 2 years before we had another one.
Yeah.
But of course it didn't work out that way. 7 weeks later, I find out that I'm pregnant.
The doctor told me, I told you you was pregnant, but the doctor said 6 weeks you can go back in. I went back in.
The doctor said 6 weeks for a visit.
That is the visit.
So at 7 weeks, I didn't find out till I was 10 weeks. And how I found out was through him. And he told me, we had sex, and he said, I think you need to take a pregnancy test because things just don't feel right. And I was like, I'm not pregnant, but not feel right in a negative way.
No, they felt right. Just more moisture.
So I take a test, and luckily enough, I found out I was pregnant. When I went to the doctors, I was already, I had to be, I think, 10 or 12 weeks. So that's why I know I immediately got pregnant like 6 weeks after. I mean, our kids are 10 and a half months apart. I mean, you can figure that out. They're very close in age.
Irish twins.
Yes. From the time I conceived to the time they were born. I mean, our daughter couldn't even walk when her brother was born.
But she took care of her brother.
She did help. She's always been a big girl, and she helps substantially even now to this day. Very mature. Very, very mature. So yeah, so within 24 months, we had 2 children, and, we were just going on, floating, just moving forward, trying to work hard, achieve, life goals, pay off bills, debt. And and don't get it wrong, I think we always struggled. But one thing I realized when I look back, we always figured it out.
Hell yeah.
We've always figured it out, even if it was an argument, frustration, money issues, but we've always figured it out.
Arguments have always been financially, for the most part.
In the beginning, definitely.
Yeah.
In the beginning, yeah. Most of our arguments was always, I feel like, financial.
The other part is going to be another episode.
Yeah, the other part. Not. It will be another episode.
Don't talk about it, but.
Yeah, but it's good to talk about it because it's always good for people to see imperfections in relationships that are not always discussed.
Nah, people just want to hear about your life because at the end of the day, Facebook is just too fake. So you got a podcast going on and people actually get to see the honesty of people. They find it as a joke.
I don't think they find it as a joke.
They find it as a joke because guess what? They looking at this as, you know what? They're being honest, truthful, having fun. Then they look at their man and be like, why we can't do this? Why we always struggling? Why we always this? Why we always that? It's almost a comparison. Anything in life is always going to be a comparison to something. Don't care what it is.
That's very true. That's very true. Comparing is killer.
More of a judgment than a comparison.
I mean, that's what most people do, compare their relationships, right? I think we all have done it at some point in time.
I don't compare my shit.
Not like in a bad way, babe. But you've never kind of look at somebody's relationship like, what the fuck they doing?
No, because I don't care about them.
Really?
Nope. Do not. I swear I don't. I literally don't. You can't compare your relationship if you know you're wrong.
I think, but I've compared a lot of things, not just my relationship. Sometimes I've even compared like where I am in life. I sometimes might get mad at myself and compare myself to someone else and said, if I had maybe put more focus, I would have been a lot further.
Yeah, you take it out on me, but it's cool. Let them do the same.
Do I take it out on you?
Yeah.
What do I take out on you? Am I moody? Yes, I am moody. at times. And he sees probably the
Everything.
most switch of my mood. But I think I'm not moody. I'm just I have a very dominant personality. But you wouldn't say that when I was younger, though. Would
Nah, you need to be your old self again. Shit, I'm tired of this
No,
motherfucker.
no.
Shirley.
But wait,
Look, take what you have right now in life. We're gonna figure out this 25 years. But hold on, talking
they're
some real
listening now. They're
talk,
realizing why it's been
talking some real,
25 years.
we're gonna talk some real shit now, right? So look, you take where you at are now, right? Mentally, right? You take how much growth you done had, and just bring the sweetheart back. He's a fucking devil on the low. I need to fix my hair too. Camera got me fucked up. But yeah, just take where you are at now and just tranquil the sweetheart back in it. I'm not gonna say she's the devil because she's still a sweetheart. It's a lot of shit I don't put her through. She's still a sweetheart. Long story short, it's my baby. Hate her, but I love her more than I hate her. And on top of that, she always good one. Here you go. Shirley always looks, not always, but Shirley always, gotta say always, I guess, takes in the bad more than she takes in the good. And when she takes in the bad more than the good, you see that dark side of her. Where me personally, I'm just a simple going individual and really just don't give a fuck about shit. And I think that's where it falls into play of her ranting on at times.
I don't think I rant. I mean, to feed off what he says, what he is saying, am I more attitude-ish now than I was when we first met?
Fuck yeah.
Yes, I will agree with him with that. But that follows with so much trauma. Trauma plays a role. And I do realize that my childhood also, and I didn't realize this until now, plays a big role between childhood trauma and adult trauma. I think that's where all the extra spice comes into play. When we first met, there was no relationship trauma.
There was no boundaries. There was no guidelines. And that's why I try to say I don't want to get fucking married, because people, when they get married, they see things as an obligation between a piece of paper. And we've survived 25 years of not being married through trials, tribulations, and everything else. And we're still fucking here. You can get a person that's been married they've been, I'll give you a better one. They was in a relationship for 2 years. They proposed in 2.5. Got married in 3 years. Next thing you know, the motherfuckers is divorced on the 5th fucking year. Sometimes not even that. Because they never got to know each other the way they needed to know each other. You feel me? The best thing is, it was a little meme or something back in the day where a man and a woman have been together for 50 years or something like that, and he finally proposed to her. You know what I mean? You gotta know your partner. I know you, but I don't know you well enough. Because there's always triggers. There's always something new. You know what I mean? You must examine your surroundings as well as possible. It's like I have flaws, you have flaws, we all have flaws. But it's all about working around the flaws to figure out that there's a better person behind the flaw.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? You get too much out of me.
So now that you brought up the topic of marriage, which is good for how we've lasted 25 years, that's a big topic. That's a big question that many people have asked me is how have we survived 25 years and what's the reason why we haven't got married? So when I first met Kalief.
Well, again.
That's okay. No.
That's it? That's
I
it?
have more. It's audio. So the podcast is audio experience. The video is more for marketing. They'll get like 5 minutes of video, not
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm not recording the whole entire time because I have to get a bigger card and all of that stuff. Okay, so now that we're on the topic of marriage that you brought up, a big question I do get asked a lot is, why aren't we married? We've been together for this long. Why aren't we married? And when I first met you, marriage was something that was important to you when I first met you. Yeah. For both of us, it was. For you, it definitely was. That is something that you did want. It really, truly wasn't up until out from what I know. It was when the whole situation happened. Wait a minute. Go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna say no. If you're talking about that situation,
no, I'm not talking.
Oh, okay, I apologize.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that situation. What I'm saying is, from my knowledge, when that situation arose, is when I found out that you did not want to get married anymore. You did not speak to me before then, so I'm really not quite sure before then when your mind actually changed, because you never involved me in that decision. Now, when we had went to counseling, remember what I had told the counselor? It's not about the paper. It's about, this was something that, you and I had agreed together. And now you know how I feel now. I definitely don't want to do it now, but we don't need to discuss that here. But I'm very content. When I say I don't want to do it now, don't look at this the wrong way. I'm very happy and I'm more than content with the way things are. And there's personal reasons that we just won't discuss on the air. No, we don't have to say it now, that I don't want to move forward with that. If you know, or you could read between the lines, but that's not something we're going to discuss, at least on this episode. We have many other episodes that we can bring that up. So, let the listeners know, what's the real underlying reason that your mind really, truly did change.
Okay, so basically I was negotiating the price on a ring one day. As a surprise to her. I think this was back in I came home in 06. So I'll say about maybe 08, 09. I was discussing the price, negotiating, whatever the case may be. And she called me. And I told her, listen, can I call you back? I'm trying to handle something. So then she goes on. I'm like, listen, just let me call you back. I'm trying to handle something. She still goes on. I say, can I please just call you back? I'm trying to handle something. Her not knowing I'm discussing the fucking ring, whatever the case may be. But she gets an attitude, starts spazzing, start blowing up my phone, stuff like that. So literally, I said, fuck this ring. We need to work ourselves out. Was I wrong for changing my mind? Yes. But was it for good reasons? In my perspective, yes. Because like I said, you know what I mean? Regardless of how long you've been dealing with a person, there's always things you will never know about an individual that you're being with. There's always going to be secrets. There's always going to be what ifs, whatever the case may be. So at that point in time, yes, I did not certify the deal. Walked out, had an attitude, didn't discuss nothing with her. I say about 2010, maybe not, maybe 2010. It could have been late 09, early 2010. I basically brought up to her what I was doing. And then that basically came to the point of why I changed my mind. Truthfully. Will I still marry her? Fuck yeah. Do she deserve it? Fuck yeah. And that's about it.
Well, I had already known the story, so now you guys know the story behind his underlying reason of marriage. And, share with us definitely of, what do you think about this? How do you feel? But I guess to move on to the next thing, what are 3 positives that you would definitely say has helped us stick through? And then after you go, I'll go.
1, you're a strong woman. 2, I don't give a fuck. And 3, you have my heart.
My top 3 are moment of silence because I'm trying to figure out how to put it into words. So for me, I am I would say I can be very much of a challenge to deal with. My peace is very important to me, and from the moment I met this individual, he is the first person I've ever loved or been in love with, because the love I have for him, I've never had for any other man. So, one thing that attracted me to Kalief is on my skin. Is he was comical. He was comical. He made me feel, even though we were just fuck buddies when we were younger, Kalief just made me feel important. That I can't necessarily put into words, because it's not like I didn't feel significant, but I just felt wanted more than just in a sexual way with Kalief. Even though I know it sounds crazy because we were just fuck buddies at first, but it was just the feeling that he gave me. And I think I told him this before. I don't know if he remembered, but I did say to him that from the moment I met him, I just knew, like, this is the one that's going to be the father of my kids. I don't know why I felt that way. I don't know why. I told you it was a few years back. It was years later when this was like in 2018 when I told you. So this was years later I told him, but I just had this feeling that I knew this guy was ultimately going to be the father of my children. I don't know when it was going to happen, and I wasn't really truly 100% sure it was going to happen, but I just had a sense like this was the one that I was going to, like, go through all my bullshit with. I don't know why. But so I guess the love for him, he's comical. And later on, I realized that Kalief is very sensitive, more sensitive than I am. And on top of that, caring, extremely caring, more caring than I am. I think I am a cold-hearted individual to how much Kalief is caring for others. Because even though you say you don't give a fuck, but I feel like you are willing, when I say caring, you're willing to give someone a second and a third chance. Sometimes other than you, I can cut people off in a heartbeat. If I feel like my peace is compromised, or if I feel like you are somebody that does not have my best interests at heart. I mean, you even see that with my friends. Like, the friends I have, I keep them, but I don't surround myself with many people at all.
You're not supposed to. You gotta basically, it's like this. Surrounding yourself with a lot of people just causes a headache. But when you're around certain people, you find out who the real ones are. And I learned that maybe in my mid-20s. I still give some people the benefit of the doubt, but I just know how to keep my distance. Like I say, if you want to deal with somebody, you only deal with somebody when you want to deal with them. Other than that, keep it pushing. Nobody can stop your life but you. And that's just the realest part about it. But as far as why we've been together for 25 years, like she said, she prepared herself for the bullshit.
I didn't prepare. I think I had made a decision that I was going to stick it out with this individual. But let's be honest though. Do you really I think because of you though is one of the reasons why we stick together, because there were a few times, admit, that I felt like I just needed to walk away from this.
Shit, the same with motherfucking me. Do you know sometimes you can be cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs?
Cuckoo, we both can be cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
No, I'm mentally disturbed. I'm not crazy.
You're not mentally disturbed. I think you like to say that, but let's be, I think, here's the thing. Here's what I think. I think we both have temper issues. We just manage our temper differently, because I know, which is not always a good thing, because I know how to keep my temper at bay, but sometimes keeping it at bay, when you finally do explode, it's explosive. Yeah. So there is pros and cons to how we both choose to handle our anger. I know you say you're mentally disturbed. I don't consider you to be mentally disturbed. I just feel as though you just get upset, and you get like really upset.
So, just for the fellas and females out there, the best way to take this as is a female can trigger you, especially the female that you're in a relationship with, can trigger you faster than a person you don't know, because you're fighting your battles with them while giving your heart. And that battle becomes a disturbance because you're basically sitting here trying to prove your love, but it's always arguments. It's always, what about this? What about that? And a whole bunch of shit that don't need to fucking be involved in. So when you're sitting here arguing with your lady and she becomes your trigger, and you don't know how to diffuse that trigger with her because the levels of intensity of the argument, the buttons are pushed more than dealing with somebody on the streets or just anybody else in general. You know what I mean? A female, especially the one that you're dealing with. When it comes to your heart and you loving them, the battles become your heart being torn behind arguments. And it's best to either walk away from the situation or try to diffuse the situation by calming the person down by not entertaining, or just trying to find out what the key is of why they are upset.
I agree.
What, you was going to deny it?
No, I wasn't going to deny it. Now you totally. Why did you say you were mentally disturbed though? What
mentally disturbed? With you?
With me?
Yeah, nigga.
With me?
Yeah, all right.
I don't think I'm that. But do you find me that difficult to get along with, or do you just?
No. I don't find you difficult to get along with. I find you difficult to manage when tension arises. And that's the reason why on our second session of counseling, it came to the point of I was trying to help you. Like in a relationship, it's best to talk to your significant other as a friend more than in a relationship, because if you talk to one of your friends, it's no such thing as yelling. It's just them hearing you out and you hearing them out. But when you talk to your significant other, it becomes a battle because y'all clashing, y'all bumping heads, y'all can't see eye to eye, y'all can't figure out how to resolve the situation. It's almost like venting to a friend instead of venting to your partner. You're easier opening up to a friend about your, how would I say, problems than you are to your partner. Because when you're opening up to when you open up to your friend, there's really no judgment. It's just a person hearing you out, feeling what you're going through, and giving you feedback. When you're opening up to your partner, It's more along the lines of, bitch, I don't give a fuck what the fuck you got to talk about. It's just, let's figure it out another way besides constantly arguing. And sorry to be honest, but when you basically saying, listen, let's just figure it out, and their tensions are up, they don't want to hear that. But then once the situation is diffused and the partners are now calm and they can actually speak about something, the eye to eye is there. Would you agree?
I would agree. I think when couples argue, when I kind of think about our situation when we argue and when we get upset with each other, for me, I find it is because one partner is just not listening to the other partner.
Well, as far as for us, let's just say as far as for us,
Mm-hmm.
when just because you feel as though the partner's not listening, and this goes for the world too, as far as for women, because 9 times out of 10, you know what I mean, women hold themselves to a higher standard than men do. Um, when it comes to that, it's basically we hear you, we're processing it, but you want the response faster than we can process it. The truth. Niggas, y'all agree, right? The world.
You want the response faster than we can process it. Well,
That's literally the truth.
I can only agree with that 50-50 because I think a lot of times when a woman is approaching a conversation with their man, the man is probably already either in defense mode or already assuming the worst. I think a lot of times when a woman comes to talk to you or says something to you, it's not like she wants you to offer a solution. She wants you to be, even if it's, I shouldn't say acting like it's engaged, because majority of the time men are engaged. It's just their listening skills are different. Many times I assume with you that you're not paying attention, you're not listening, and then I'll say, were you paying attention to me? And you'll repeat the last line I said.
Because the last line is what registers. You know
You'll
what I
repeat
mean?
the
Like when you
last
say, "Are you
line.
listening?" Yeah, I heard what everything you said. This is the last thing you said. That's the last line is what's going. Everything is being processed. The last line is the last thing that was registered in a mental perspective.
Yeah, it is. Um, do you feel as though, so what do you think could improve from our argument?
Making a long story short,
Oh, that's your favorite line.
nah, it's not. It's all right. So listen up, people. Right? Anytime a female brings something to the table, meaning your attention, she's going to give you a story as if it was in a book. Guess what men do? Men is the essay that they got to write once they finish reading the book. Do you understand that part?
I totally understand that.
Okay. So when you're like, oh, well, yada yada this and yada yada that and yada yada this, okay, it's time for a nigga to sum it up. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sum it up. It's no reason. It's no reason to prolong a conversation. Like you just get straight to the point. Boom. Listen, I don't fucking like you. You can tell a person on the streets anytime, look, stay away from me. They be like, why? Because I don't like you. Now, when it comes to your partner, look, just stay away from me right now. Why? Oh, because we had that discussion the other day, and I didn't feel fond about it. But I had to do a little bit of thinking of it. Nah, listen, no, fuck it. I don't like you. Right now, I don't like you. We don't need to have a conversation. Just stay away from me. Once I feel better, I'll come to your attention. If you don't feel good at that time, we'll bring it up at a later date.
I agree with that. But I also feel as though that one thing that is important in any relationship, even ours that we are always working on, you also always need to make sure you give your partner that platform. Even if it's a conversation that you don't necessarily want to hear. Sometimes it's not always nice to make a long story short.
You know what she just said?
What did I just say?
We was sitting down watching Martin when he got fucked up by Tommy Hearns. Remember all them knots he had on him? That's what she just said to me.
What? I don't even understand that one.
You don't ever watch Martin Lawrence?
I did, but I don't get the correlation between that and the knots.
You was just beating me the fuck up.
I was not. I was not. See what I'm saying, guys? He's a little sensitive.
You was just beating me up.
No one was beating him up.
That's the reason of the long story short. All right.
Long story short is okay sometimes, but
No, it's long story short is the best all the time because you're basically expressing your feelings and what you want. Sum it up. Like, we don't need stories. What was the moral of the story? That's what men want. Men want the moral of the story. They don't want 50 fucking pages of bullshit just to get to the goddamn situation. Men want, what's the problem? How can we fix it? Let's get better on it.
But what's important is balance.
And balance comes with summing it up. Moral of the story is, this is why you feel the type of way you do. Do you have a way that we can sit here and correct this? And let's push forward from it.
I can only agree with that 50%. And this is, this is healthy because this goes to show you, even after 25 years, we don't always have to agree on everything. I do agree that no matter who you are, what you are, it is always important to have balance in the relationship, in the conversation, because long story short is good sometimes. But sometimes you do have to let your partner have that platform and allow them to speak and let all their energy out and let them break down every section of the story that they need to break down to let it out.
No. Shout out to Mom showing the washer. Reason I say that is, hope y'all listen to this. My lady will ask me 5 questions in one sentence and want 5 answers on 5 questions. Not possible. And this is the reason why I always cut her off and I try to tell her that. You ask a question. Sorry, I got to interrupt. This is that answer. You ask another one. This is that answer. She don't do that. She will sit here. Well, what about this? Well, what about that? Well, what about this? Well, what about that? Well, what about this? And then tell you, look, I only want one answer. How the fuck can you do that? You ask 5 different things and all you want to do is say, oh, well, can you just answer all of them when you're ready now? No, because I'm lost on everything you fucking said
now. Well, as we're going to be coming to an end.
No, we're not.
We are coming to an end. We're almost reaching an hour. We're 10 minutes from an hour.
We're about to do this for an hour and 30. Y'all going to enjoy this.
We're 10 minutes from an hour, so we are going to be ending. But before we end, I guess to give you guys a piece of advice about
Babe, we gotta start this over.
Why?
Because we never understood why we was doing this for 25 years. They didn't even get to hear this part. We gotta start this shit over.
They did get to hear this part.
Why the fuck we been together for 25 years then?
That's what we're going to end now. We're going to give them a little piece of advice of how to help to make it last that long.
Be opposite. Shortest way to do it.
You got to give them more than that. You have like younger generations. Now that we're parents, we have 2 people that are...
Okay, cool. Be opposite. Give in when needed.
Give in when needed. What? You got to give them more. Like, tell them like, okay, what helped you last this long, even through the trials and tribulations and everything that we've been through?
Because I'm going to have jokes on
You can have jokes. It's okay. What's the joke? Is the joke appropriate?
I've been cursing, saying the N-word, all that. I don't know how much of this is going to get edited, but
She'll keep all of it. Maybe well, for the podcast, she'll keep all of it.
Seriously, like I said, got my heart. That's part of our 25 years. We do have hella ups and downs to this day. Don't care how you put it. Any relationship happen to this day. And it's just all about the process of learning your partner more and more and how to understand them and be able to calm them down when they're up and for them to be able to calm you down when you're up. You know, it's all about knowing their likes and dislikes and them knowing your likes and dislikes and not being able to trigger your dislike.
Trigger the dislike?
Yeah. I don't fucking like you right now. I don't like doing this podcast. I don't like being dressed up to go the fuck out. But guess what? You let me do it.
He loves this podcast, guys. You see, he wanted to extend it to another 30 minutes.
Because we didn't talk about why we've been together for 25 years. We just sat here and joked the whole time.
They'll get the message, and we're ending with a call to action and giving them some feedback now. So they'll be good. And then we have so many episodes for them to hear from us.
Listen, first of all, you asked me to get on your podcast. You didn't say how many episodes. Now you're talking to so many seems like a lot of numbers behind it.
Once a month.
Once a month. That's your period.
Yeah.
Shit, so you mean to tell me by the time we get done with all these episodes, you're going to be going through menopause?
Yeah, you so silly. No. I probably have another 15 years for menopause. Yeah. 15 years. Why probably. Because I'm 39, 49. I may not start menopause. I'm in my 50s. That's why I'm saying 15 more years. But did you give 3? Yes, you did. You gave 3. So for me, the advice I want to give to people who are in a relationship, and to me, anything under 10 years is still new. He says 15. I say 10. Anything under 10 is still new. You're still learning your partner. One thing that is very important that I've learned over the years is boundaries. Boundaries are very important in a relationship. There's good boundaries and there are bad boundaries. But it's always important that your partner is respectful of your boundaries, whatever your boundary may be. A boundary may be something as simple as you want an hour to yourself for the day. I'm not talking about complicated boundaries, but your boundaries should be respected and should be understood, and set them early and let your partner know what they are. Communication is always important. Once you start to feel slightly different about your relationship, or once your mind changes about something, it's important to communicate that with your partner, because of the simple fact that most likely you two are living together or you plan on sharing a life together. So it is important that you keep that communication open, because it's just simple respect. And you don't want to lead somebody on and, maybe 7 years in, you start to feel different about the relationship and you don't communicate that to your partner. And those are the reasons that cause people to start straying or to get unfocused, because the spice that you guys had is not there anymore. So communication. And my third one is a simple one, is sex. I know you're probably thinking like,
nasty.
I know you're probably thinking like, what the hell does that have to do with staying together 25 years? I will say one thing that hasn't changed for Kalief and for our relationship and myself is, no matter how upset we may have been with each other, the sex has never changed. And I think that was a saving grace for us through all the trials and tribulations and the trauma that we both have endured. The sex has never changed. And that, even though you may not want to talk about it, we may have Christians out there and be like, how dare she say that? But let's be serious. Sex is Sex is very important in a relationship, and it's very important that you keep that spice going. Um, because once you kind of lose the sex, you kind of really lose the relationship, because then even though shouldn't be the number one priority in your relationship, but it is an important part of the relationship. And, everyone's sex drive is different. I'm not talking about sex every day, but you should still be physically attracted to your partner, still want your partner in some way, shape, or form, even if it's, you see how comical he is, even to this day. Even if it's cuddling or whatever it may do. Anything that falls within that sexual orientation, cuddling to me is all part of sex.
I don't like cuddling.
We know you don't. Well, I know you don't.
Your body is too hot.
I know.
And you don't like sleeping under the fan.
No.
But anyway, people, I'm going to give you the realest ever. Majority to the females that's ripping and running. Or the majority to the females whose friends are ripping and running. Don't let them judge your life of your relationship. Because who the fuck knows? They can be in a relationship that they want your man. They can be in a relationship that they want but can't have. So what do? They hate and break apart what you have and what you can build just so you can be happy with them being miserable. For this, misery loves company.
Very true. Misery does love company. And a lot of people don't give a fuck about your relationship. Just remember that as well. So that's why it's always a union between you, your partner, and God, because most people really, truly don't give two fucks about what you got going on. And as sad as it may sound, a lot of people like to see when your relationships go wrong.
Finally, you ain't with him. Girl, I've been waiting for us to go to the club.
So as we end today's podcast for the first episode of Advice Time, we hope you enjoyed it. If you want to continue the discussion, you definitely know where you can go to continue the discussion. You can go on Facebook or Instagram or on the website. Until the next episode of Advice Time, which will be next month, remember to always love yourself, voice yourself, and be yourself, and have a great one, guys.
Big facts.
Thanks for tuning in to Fanpale Podcast. If you want to continue the conversation or share your takeaways, I want to hear from you. Head on over to the website or join our Facebook community and comment your favorite part of the show or share your thoughts. I want to hear what you have to say. Don't forget to rate and subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. Chat with you next week.